Danielle with Imperfect Dust here. Today we're going to take this Hobby Lobby clearance find and pair it with a Magnolia Design Company reusable stencil of Amazing Grace. I cannot wait to show you how these two pair together so well. Stick around to the end to see how it turns out. Up first, I'm going to sand down the board. If you're using chalk paint, you can skip this step, but I decided to go with some paint I had on hand, and it was not chalk paint, and even though it's not my favorite, I just went for it. So this is an apple barrel gloss paint. It's called dark gray, and so I'm just going to put it everywhere, and it ended up taking 2 coats on this. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit and get these 2 coats on here quickly. Next, I'm going to grab that Amazing Grace stencil, and I'm going to take the back of the bag and write Amazing Grace on it because I am growing my stencil collection, and since these are reusable, I want to make sure that I get it back in the same bag that it came in for easy access the next time. Now I'm going to grab my scissors and cut away the sheet music from the other side. Up next is a process called fuzzing. So this is a Magnolia Design Company tacky towel that I'm working with. That's what they're called, tacky towels. And they are super soft, but basically you peel the stencil up. And by the way, I have read to preserve your stencil the best, you want to pull from top to bottom or bottom to top. And that is going to help not stretch out the stencil. So anything like pulling from diagonally will stretch your stencil out. So you don't want to do that. You want to be real easy with it and peel it away. And you can see that shiny, sticky side. And I'm going to lay it down on the tacky towel and press and pull. And I'm going to do this about 3 or 4 times, I think is what I end up doing. But right here, I'm also going to take the back of this stencil paper and write Amazing Grace on it as well, because you want to make sure that you know what side you're going to reapply that reusable stencil to so that you can use it again later. All right, so now I'm going to start with the fuzzing. So the purpose of fuzzing is to get crisp lines. We don't want any bleeds on our stencil, so this is going to help that process later. Now that my surface is dry, I'm going to come in and sand. And again, you would not have to do this if you're using chalk paint, but I am just using this acrylic gloss that I had. So I'm going to go ahead and sand this down and get it nice and ready for the stencil process. Okay, here we go. I'm going to peel it away from the tacky towel and get ready to place it down on the surface. Once I've got it nice and where I want it to be, I'm going to come in with a squeegee and just press down and make sure that the stencil is nicely adhered to the surface so that there is no bleeding. So I'm going to press this down and you will feel it seal off really nicely. And once you feel like you've got it on there really good, I just lifted it up and took a look at all of the areas and made sure there were no bubbles. All right, now I'm going to come in with my Magnolia Design Company chalk paste, and tonight I'm using a brilliant white color. So you've heard me mention chalk paint in this video, but this is different. This is chalk paste, so a different medium, and it is made specifically to work well with these stencils. You never ever want to use chalk paint with these stencils, or your stencil will no longer be reusable. It will do too much wear and tear to it because the paint will dry too quickly, and it's just not a good thing. So do not do. All right, so I was struggling a little bit here with the squeegee. I couldn't figure out, okay, which side is gonna pull smoother. So there's an angled side to this squeegee that actually makes it so easy to glide across that stencil. So that is why you saw me hesitate there. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned about these stencils is how they are made. So they are silk screen stencils. If you look really closely, once you have one in your hand, you will see a little screen in behind all the text. And so there are little bitty holes that I am trying to fill in. And this is what allows it to show all the loops in the text and everything. This isn't like your normal stencil where you will see an abridged, not abridged, what's the word? You know, where it's the loop has a stick sticking to it. This is not like that at all. And I'm going to show you the finished product to explain what I mean. If you're familiar with stencils at all, then you'll know exactly what I mean when you see the finished product, because there won't be those little dashes in between for the center of the letters. All right, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit so you can see this finished product. Let me know in the comments, do you think that this is going to turn out with crisp lines on all these little pieces of text? I have to admit, I was extremely doubtful. So let's get ready to peel this away, and I'm gonna go from bottom to top to give you the best view. Okay, here we go. I had a little bit of trouble at the beginning because of this gloss paint. It turns out it was stickier than it should have been, but look at these words. Oh my goodness, they are coming out so crisp. I am in shock. It is a little tough to pull away, and apparently I have talked to some people and I should have fuzzed this a little more. 4 times was not enough, and I have found out that some stencils are just stickier than others. But I am happy to report that even after I got done with this, rinsed it all out and everything, the stencil seems to be great. It doesn't look like I've stretched it out at all, and look at these beautiful words. I just love how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you missed it, here's the first time I ever tried Magnolia stencils, and so you can see what happened the very first time I ever tried it.